Hello guys, thanks for joining me at the bench. Today we're going to be at least doing the straps. Depending on time I might even do the flesh just to get this one put to bed really. I think this has been hanging around for far too long, so we'll see what we can do. This is one of Gav's videos, so don't be surprised if I only do the straps after I've said I might do the face. But we shall see. Right, let's get on with it. Now what I'm going to do with this is go for a cold, coldish look to the straps. Again, you can vary it, you could go for, as you can see here, we've got a warm waistcoat. So I didn't particularly want to put a warm white on top of that, as it tends to lose a bit of definition, unless you're going to heavily glaze it and do stuff with it just to pick out colours. But I'm going to go for a cold one. So we're looking at sky grey for a base. I'm thinking, I was looking at these and there is a slight difference in them, as you can see. So we've got, this has always been a favourite of mine, this is the Panzer Ace. As you can see, this one's well worn, white German tank crew. And then we're going to go for a AK, and what is it, Gav? Off-white. And we may do a little dab of pure white or something, cold white, whatever you want to use, but another brighter white on top. But if I do, it would be just little tiny dots and dashes, but it'll probably just be these three. I've already done the straps on the here with the grey. I think sky greys are really decent fit for doing base colours. I use it a heck of a lot on any type of grey, to be honest with you. If it's going to be used as a base, as a light colour, it's also nice as a highlight. And let's get everybody, I'll adjust the camera again in a minute guys. It's not exactly in line with what I want to do, so sorry if I'm drifting out. I'm mixing and matching a lot of the brands that I use at the moment. I've really been enjoying the AK. What do they call it? Is it next generation or third generation? Third generation. I've been really enjoying their paints at the moment, so I've been buying a lot of those. But there's still old favourites of Vallejo's that I'll use. I've actually bought a sky grey. I don't really need. I've got about another two Vallejo sky greys, but I just wanted to see what the actual sky grey was like from AK. Not doing too bad. I will sometimes, mainly on the Imperial Guard, but I will sometimes go around the tape, and I've lost my stick, the tapes as I call them, around the edges of the backpack. I've just done that in brown, if you remember, but I will sometimes put them in, well, for the Imperial Guard I tend to whiten them up and put them in brown for the line regiments, but occasionally I'll throw in a white taped one as well. I just think, again, I keep saying it just in case I get, a wheelbarrow load of criticism. I don't class myself as a Napoleonic buff. I paint Napoleonics without being a Napoleonic buff, if that makes sense. But I just think the French particularly, as I've said before, lived off the land really. Whatever country they invaded, they'd use their supplies up of clothing and backpacks and all that type of stuff, or get local contractors to do them. And so there's a huge variety you can paint with the French. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Brits and everybody else obviously use local sources as well. You'll often see Brits painted in when they've been in the Peninsular Wars with brown trousers made from the local cloth. you know, so obviously it happened across the board, but I'm just saying, if you do want to mix a figure up, the French are quite often quite good at, you know, you can get away with the extra bit of colour in places. Right guys, I've put the Panzer, or I never get this right, Panzer Aces White German Tank Crew. I've only been using it for years. You can just about see the definition there between the straps, and again let's get the pointy stick, well, not between the straps, but so I'll leave the darker colour in the middle and go for the edges just to show them up. If you're really going to go to town on them, you can even show some cracking on them. What they'd often use is pipe clay, so it's like white china clay more or less, that's put in like a powder, or lime even, and then you whiten up your belts and slings, you know, when you're a soldier of the period. It would sometimes crack and obviously get the yellowish dirt in it and stuff, so you can go to town on these if you want to, but just for basic, you know, like this figure's just obviously a basic figure, so I'd go just for the three colours that I'm doing. As I say, maybe a dot of pure white somewhere if it's really needed. We're going to get on to the off-white now from AK. Right guys, so we've got our three greys and off-whites done for our strapping. I might just do a bit of cold white. Here we go, so Vallejo. It doesn't really matter what white you use, just something a bit brighter than the off-whites you've been using really. And it is just literally a dot here and there if you're going to do it. So we'll get on with that, do a couple of white dots, and then we'll have a look at the flesh tones. Right guys, as you can see by our fellow's slightly suntanned face, I've put a base coat down. I want to do that because I'm going to knock off and have my lunch. So I thought rather than get the hairdryer out, this can dry out while me and the pup are enjoying our lunch. Anyway, enough of lunchtime sandwiches, one of Archie's favourites. This will be painted in like I'll do like a black brown around here just to show some definition, so don't worry about any gaps that's there at the moment. The colour I've used for this and my reasoning behind it is Parasite Brown. This is a game colour, so it'll be a bit more richer in pigment, and they can be a bit more glossy, but it's a base coat, so you know, it's not too important, and obviously being a War Games figure, it's going to be matte coated anyway. You can usually on a grey surface get away with one coat. Sometimes if you want to, you know, be boots and braces or whatever they call it, belt and braces even, get yourself a second coat on there. I might do that with this guy. The reasoning behind all this is just to give it a warmer feel to it. If I reach over, this is another colour I use if I don't want such a rich tone to it, which is light brown, and I'll often use that one as a base coat on my figure painting. But there's not a huge jump from the light brown to say medium flesh tone, something like that, so you know, that's up to you. But I use this every now and then because it's a nice warm colour, and I quite like it. So yeah, you know, might want to get yourself a bottle and, you know, try it yourself. So yeah, we're going to put I might well put a second coat on that before I knock off. I'll turn the video off in a minute, do a second coat, and we'll be ready to go with the rest of the flesh tones. Right guys, back, and we're going to be making just a 50-50 mix of the medium flesh from Vallejo and the Parasite Brown. As I say, I'm going to be using this on a few more of my figures, as long as I mean, this guy, hang on, let's put this down for a second. This guy doesn't have, I don't know, I was going to say he doesn't have a load of face showing, but I don't know, it's not as congested with chin scales, as in chin straps and things like that, as they can be, so it might work well. I do quite like that Parasite brown, as I say, as a rich orangey brown to give a warm tone under a skin. So we're gonna have a mix of these two together, and we'll see what we come up with in a few minutes. Right, guys, as you can see, there's not a massive jump in colour contrasts. You know, it's only gradual, and to me that probably aids us. You're not going to have too much of a definition. I mean, you may want that, as I say, that you know, there's obviously lots of styles of painting, but on this guy, and we will be doing some tiny little white dots, or well, they won't be white, but some tiny little dots for eyes and that. At this stage, you can just leave the plague brown base colour in if you don't want to do eyes, and I can totally understand it. As I say, trying to squeeze them in is not always as easy, and sometimes I think I've done a nice job, and then I look at a video or a photograph I've taken and think, oh my life. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that. As I said, we've got a speck of grey, as I can see there, but that's going to be hair colour, so I'm not fussed about that. So we'll go on with the next one. Will just be the medium flesh tone. Right, we're going to put some flat flesh into the medium flesh now. A rather grubby bottle. I've had this a fair while actually, as you can tell. So we'll probably put probably about a 50-50 mix in again, just to lighten it up, and then we will put we'll go straight up to a flat flesh. Here's a figure with 100% of the medium flesh on top. Right, that's what we've got so far, and we will be adding, I just wanted to do a quick test off camera, to the flat flesh we're just going to be adding a tiny bit of yellow green. Now that is a really strong colour, but it will add you a bit of green and a bit of luminosity into your paint. But I would say probably, I don't know, I'm not very good with this type of stuff, but you know, probably about 75%, 80% the flat flesh, and the rest is the yellow green. Right, that's our face with our you know, a bit of green, our yellow green in it, giving it that bit of luminosity. I know it looks fairly pasty and whatever, but we're going to be glazing some colours into that as well, so I wouldn't have too much fear on that side of it at the moment. But it just, again, it's just building up that luminosity. So hopefully I'm going to put some eyes in there now, and then, which I'll obviously do off camera, and then we'll have a look at some glazes that we put into the cheeks and the lips and things like that. Right, guys, I've put a base colour which was dark rust, I believe, from Vallejo, as a base on the moustache, the sideburns and the hair. That's just to be honest with you, just to give me a bit. Oh, and I put the eyes in, obviously. Tried to put him looking to the right, hopefully. Now, I usually put the hair in about this time, just so that when I put my glazes in, just to put some reds and different colours into the face detail, I've got something to work up to. Because obviously your base colour, such as for the hair, is such a strong colour, you don't want to miss it and then, you know, hit your face with black or dark brown paint. So yeah, I'll have a look through my paint bottles and see what we're going to put on the face. Right, guys, only a couple of basic colours were used. In fact, really, we would say one basic colour was used in the cheeks, and that is your classic shadow flesh. This one's an AK. As you can see, there we go, shadow flesh from AK. And that was used, let me see, forgive me for a minute, as I'm off camera. I have to use my larger pointy stick, or paint stirrer. Yeah, so we've put shadows into the, funny enough, shadow areas. Around the nose and under the under the cheeks, I suppose you could say, down to the chin. You can put your purples, and obviously if you want to show him, you know, slightly with a blue stubbly face, you can put a bit of grey or whatever colour you want to into your flesh tone, and you know, just give him that bit of a look. I've decided to not do that with this guy. I think that your yellow-green works really well. What you can also do as well to give him an even, I would say, if the face was, you've got more to work on with the face, you could put some type of orange in there as well, and give it a slightly more orangey look. But I don't want to do that. I think that works quite well. The eyes might be a bit better on him. I might readdress it afterwards, I'm not sure. But yeah, I've used canvas, highlight the hair. I used flat brown, and then this canvas. This is a lovely colour for highlighting different stuff. And that's AK again. Now all he needs now is a clean up, which I won't do. I won't keep the video any longer. We'll take a couple of photographs now, and then, as I say, I'll give him a clean up, and we'll get him on a base over the next few days, and we'll have one final look at him when he's based up, and we'll be going on to our next figure. And the next figure we're going to be doing will be, I will show it again when I do the final reveal of that figure, but we're going to be doing this Vietnam figure. So we're going to be doing him next. Yeah, I don't always put a base round a figure. I needed to tie. This was a bit of an awkward figure to do. I needed to tie him in. As you can see, I've even been raising it again with a bit of milliput. But it was a bit of an awkward figure to get. As you say, he goes over the base slightly, but it's more for a painting in demo anyway. So, but anyway, we won't go on about him. He's for another one. He'll be a one-off, by the way. We're going to do him all in one hit. But this guy, apart from a clean-up, as I say, is complete. We'll have one last reveal of him sometime next week, when I've done, I say, slightly clear up different areas and put him on a base, get some varnish on him. And as I say, we'll go on to that Vietnam figure. So, let's get out of it there. Thank you very much for stopping by and taking a look. I apologise it takes so long to do these, but it's just, unfortunately, you've just got to fit in with my schedule, really. So as I say, I'm trying to work out ways just to make these a bit quicker, or a lot quicker. As I say, I think it's just taking me too long. So see you very soon on another video.